What's going on, everyone? And welcome to Kicking It with Crowder, episode 13 of this season, guys. Gonna play a little bit of music real quick, let some people join, and let's get started, all right? Let's go. What's up, everybody? Remember, guys, if you join the conversation, let me know down below. If you join in on the live, guys, comment down below. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Tonight we'll talk about LSU's so-called bowl ban, even though they've kind of banned themselves by the way they played this year. 3-5 right now, defending champions. Go ahead and put a postseason ban on them for some recruiting violations or something like that. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk college football playoff and what is going on right now with the college football playoff. The top 4 most likely scenarios to happen. Also, NFL playoff picture really tightening up right now. 25% of the season left to play. And of course, guys, I'll bring you my picks later on in the show. 5-1 last week, now 35-29 on the season against the spread. So a lot of good stuff to get into tonight. Let some more people join. We got 2 on the live, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining. Going to be a good show. Let the music play, and we'll get out of here in just a few seconds. Let some more people join. Let's ride. Y'all doing all right tonight? Hey, comment down below. Let me know who's watching. Sometimes it doesn't show up for a few seconds, few minutes, but yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to share. Let's get this thing out there. And what do you want to talk about tonight, guys? Let me know. There's a good basketball game on right now. What's up, Wes? Wes Medeiros, man, always helping out. He's from Back Row Sports, but he's been helping me out a lot with my editing and some photos and things like that. So big shout out to Wes. Zoe, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Always been watching the show. Zoe does big things in Columbus, Georgia with his personal trainer. If you need to get back in shape, man, hit up Zoe. He'll take care of you, man, get you right, all right? So, hey, we always support the home team. Carver playing this weekend. Third round matchup for the Carver Tigers. So, big shout out to them. Hope they go out there and prove it and get to the semifinals this week. So, guys, I'm really pumped up for tonight's show. Y'all don't forget to share it. Don't forget to like it. We gonna get this thing rolling, all right? What up, Zoe? Yeah, man. So, hey, I got the picks coming later in the show. Make sure you stay tuned for that, man. But, hey, man, always shout out to you. Thanks for watching the show. Wes, thanks. Guys, without y'all, without the listeners, man, this show's just nothing. So, hey, I do it for you guys. I enjoy doing it, and we're going to keep doing it, all right? All right, guys. So, we will get started here in just a second. All right, guys. So, Kicking It with Crowder begins in 3, 2, 1. And welcome, everybody, and Kicking It with Crowder, episode 13, guys. I opened it up with a story that just broke about 7:45. The LSU Tigers have put themselves on a 1-year bowl probation for this season. No one really told LSU that they were 3-5. So, I'm not sure what this move was. It's like, are they playing chess? And everyone else is playing checkers. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. They put themselves on a bowl ban that they probably weren't going to be in. I know the rules say, hey, you can invite anybody, so LSU probably would have got an invitation, but come on. A 1-year bowl ban, if you're going to put yourself on something, put yourself on a 2-year bowl ban, which would have been big news coming out of the SEC and with LSU coming off that 2019 national championship where they were by far the best team in the country. That LSU team was special. I just got to call it what it is this year, and that's why this year is such a question mark for LSU. 3-5. That defense has been, just been getting eaten up lately. They have Derek Stingley. They have some good players on that defense. What's going on? Coach O has to answer for some of those things. I'm sure recruiting violations. OBJ was handing out money last year after the game. Look, I don't have a problem with NCAA guys getting paid, okay? I mean, what's the big deal? Justin Jefferson's about to go to the league. He's putting up numbers this year. I mean, call it a loan. Call it what it is. I don't really have a problem with that. But, LSU just putting themselves on a bowl ban. What's up, Julian? On putting themselves on a bowl ban when there's really no ban right there. They're not a good team. And Stingley, you're right. And Devontae Smith, he's probably the best wide receiver in the entire country. We know Ja'Marr Chase opted out this year for LSU, and that's the thing. Derek Stingley, and that's what's so crazy right now to me. I mean, you see Ed Orgeron, you see him kind of losing his mind on the sidelines, and hey, a lot can change in a year. Just ask Ed Orgeron. I mean, he went from 15-0 to 3-5, and looking like who done it. So, yeah, and Julian, we'll get into that a little bit later. Do you still think Atlanta keeps Raheem Morris? I mean, I didn't. I was on the fence about it, Julian. I could see them having reasons to bring him back. I'm all for. I've been saying it a long time. I'm all for signing Eric Bieniemy, but if they beat the Saints last week, if he moved to 5-2, if they kind of ran the table, I could have understood it. But man, you're right. After last week, no way. Clear it up. Get a new regime. The fact that he hadn't fired Dirk Cutter is really the thing for me, Julian. I mean, those two calls right there at the goal line, down 5, on second and third down, 2 little runs with Gurley, who's clearly lost a step. No pre-snap motion, no play action in the flats. I mean, anything like that. Anything that I was calling for at the TV, Dirk Cutter hit X on the controller, HB dive, 2 times in a row, and he's just very vanilla. And I do not like Dirk Cutter. Raheem Morris, I thought the players have been playing well for him. I think if he would have got a whole season over Dan Quinn, we may be saying Raheem Morris to stay. But, man, you're right. After this past weekend, start fresh. Let's go somewhere new. We got a lot of candidates out there. Arthur Smith from Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. Brian Daboll, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy, he's my favorite out of the 3. And then you could go defense. You could go Saleh from the 49ers or, the Ravens defensive coordinator as well. So any of those guys I'd be happy with. You're hearing a lot about the GM search right now. John Dorsey, Dobbs, Louis Riddick, a bunch of stuff like that. And you're getting a bunch of those teams right now. You're hearing about a lot of those names right now for the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to support it no matter what. I'm a Falcons fan, but at the same time, Arthur Blank's got to hit this, Julian. He's got to make sure he picks the right guy. You can't miss again in this situation. The window is closing. The Atlanta Falcons are already a 4-8 football team. You're right. It's crazy how far they've fallen since the Super Bowl. But this is the chance to hire the right guy and turn this thing around and draft good players. I think it all starts at the college pro personnel. Getting those college guys in, scouting the college guys and getting them in to their program. When's the last time the Atlanta Falcons hit a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick who turned into maybe a Pro Bowl type player? I mean, it's been a long time. So we'll talk a little bit of college football. But hey, man, thank you for the comment. Always comment down below. We'll get into it if we can. And we talked a little bit of LSU banning themselves for this year's bowl game. Hey, they already banned themselves. Wes says Zach Wilson to Atlanta. And guys, if you haven't seen my Zach Wilson draft profile, it's up on my YouTube. Kicking It with Crowder. I like Zach Wilson. I'm still okay with Matt Ryan. I'm still okay with how he plays the position. If he gets an elite offensive coordinator in there, I think he can really turn the corner and make these last 3 or 4 years of his career into something, and then draft a guy, maybe in year 2, year 3 from now. I really think Matt Ryan is not the problem. There's a bunch of other problems going on with the Atlanta Falcons. I've said that from day one a couple times. He does need a predecessor. You're totally right. They need to draft a guy, let him sit for 2 years, 3 years, something like that. But right now in this draft, I think we need to focus on defense, corner, safety, defensive back. Defensive end. Any of 3 of those positions I'd be happy with. And then, possibly a running back. Getting a Travis Etienne, a Najee Harris, maybe in the 2nd round would really do wonders for the Atlanta Falcons. We'll also talk the college football playoff guys. The top 4 teams are in Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State right now. And then I want to talk about the Big Ten kind of dropping their stance on, hey, you have to play 6 games to now you only have to play 5 games or so. So Ohio State is going to play in the Big Ten Championship next weekend against Northwestern. They're probably going to win, and the college football playoff is going to put them in probably no matter what. Even if somehow the Big Ten game gets canceled, I think that depending on the Alabama-Florida game, Ohio State could be in regardless. But we'll talk about all those scenarios, guys, later on in the show, so don't leave. Stay tuned for that. I'll talk the most likely scenarios, and it's just crazy to me that the Big Ten, hey, they're going to set this rule. Okay, you're going to set this rule, hey, you got to play 6 games, and then they're going to change their rule when they're the conference who sat out for 6 weeks because of coronavirus, said they weren't going to play, and then, bucked at it, and everyone bucked back, and then they jumped back into the equation. They got scared from the beginning. They should have just remained calm, had a plan in place, and not cancel the season. They missed 6 weeks. They kind of put themselves in this situation and then make this dumb rule that doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about the college football playoff later on in the show, guys. So we'll talk NFL playoff picture, 25% of the games left to play. Who are some teams who are out of it right now who could sneak back in there, guys? So I'll also give you my locks for the weekend. 5-1 last week. 35-29 on the season, guys. So I will give you my lock. Stay tuned for that. Do not leave this program, okay? So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, hit that comment button down below. Let me know what you want to talk about. And then we'll also share it out, man. Get this into some groups. Get this out there to some more people who can see it. I'm watching the Florida State-Indiana game as I speak right now. So it's a very, very good game. 57-55 with about 3 minutes and 31 seconds left. So, guys, you can also find me on I'm on Apple. I'm on Spotify. I am also on the iHeartRadio app. And then also, guys, I put videos up on YouTube. You can catch all my videos on YouTube, Kicking It with Crowder. And then on Twitter, guys, at Kick It with Crow. That's where I put all my stuff, all my content, share all my videos and things like that. So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining tonight, and let's get into the conversation. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start with the news out of LSU. When I first wrote the story tonight before the show, I kind of thought it was I thought it was going to be maybe a 2-year bowl. I thought it was going into 2021. Well, I was wrong. That is just for this season. So LSU has banned themselves for this season, but no one told them they were 3-5. And that's what's weird for me. I mean, come on, guys. You weren't going to a bowl game. You may have been picked because you're LSU and you came off a national championship, but would you even accept that bowl game? Probably not. You're 3-6. The players you're dealing with COVID. There's half the bowls aren't even out there anymore. Do they even get a bowl invite? I mean, there's probably enough teams who, with a winning record, who would have went. So I'm not sure what this is. A big question mark about Ed Orgeron. Does this affect the 2019 national championship? Even if it did, it didn't matter because LSU went out there and kicked everyone's ass. So it doesn't matter what happened. I'm always going to know that LSU was the best team in 2019. Just like if they took the Auburn national championship away in 2010, all those years ago, I would have known who the champion was then. It didn't matter what they did. I knew who was going to win. So tonight, what do you think about that? Is LSU, do you look at LSU differently? Could this reflect recruiting? Arik Gilbert, tight end out of Marietta High School. A lot of people thought he was going to pick UGA. He picked LSU. He's now possibly in the transfer portal. Where will he end up? And does this affect him in any way? I heard he's already missing practice. Will he play this weekend against the Florida Gators? We'll find out. So, yeah, and that's probably what I think too. They know that they not only gave out some money last year, there's probably some other things happened, and they're just trying to say, we weren't really going to go to a bowl game anyways. Let's just put it on this year. Let's regroup. Let's try to bounce back in 2021 when we have some guys coming back. And, this is a young football team. Derek Stingley is probably one of the best players in the country, but he did get abused by Devontae Smith last week. So I want to talk about the college football playoff a little bit and where the teams stand, where your favorite team stands. Right now, guys, we got Alabama coming in at number 1, and then followed by number 2 Notre Dame, who will play number 3 Clemson in the ACC championship. And what a what a gift this was for the ACC this year, getting Notre Dame to come to the conference, and now they're getting Clemson, Notre Dame in the championship. When all these years people have said, Clemson doesn't play anyone. Well, I'm telling you, Notre Dame's a good football team. I'm not saying they can't lose to some other teams out there, maybe a Florida, maybe Ohio State, A&M. Not saying that. But Notre Dame is a good football team. Ian Book makes plays with his legs. He doesn't put up the stats that all these other guys do, like Kyle Trask and Mac Jones. But he's a winner. They're undefeated this year. And this Clemson Notre Dame matchup, I'm really looking forward to it. Trevor Lawrence, guys, is going to play in this one. And I expect Clemson to take care of business against Notre Dame. I really do. I like this matchup for both teams, Clemson, Notre Dame. If Notre Dame wins, guys, they're in the college football playoff, no questions asked. Even if they lose, they could make it. So we'll talk about all the scenarios here in just a little bit. So you got Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, followed by Ohio State at number 4. Ohio State, basically the College Football Committee said they could not even play in the Big Ten Championship, and they'd probably get in. I think that Ohio State's pretty much going to be in. They look to play Northwestern next week in a matchup where they're going to be heavily favored in that matchup, and I expect Ohio State to win. So you're going to have Ohio State sitting at probably 6-0 versus teams like Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Florida, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Georgia, even a bunch of teams that have played more games, have played 10 games. So it looks like Ohio State's going to get in, win against Northwestern, and Ohio State is basically in the college football playoff. Doesn't really matter what happens to Alabama. I think Alabama is solidly in the college football playoff. So then you got teams like A&M who have their game canceled this weekend against Ole Miss. You have Florida, who, if they control their own destiny, if they beat Alabama, they're probably in the college football playoff, and Bama is probably still in the college football playoff. So that would leave the Clemson and Notre Dame winner to make the playoff, most likely. And then you got Iowa State at number 7, Cincinnati at number 8, UGA at number 9, Miami at number 10, and then followed by the couple teams outside the top 10, Oklahoma at 11, Indiana at 12, Coastal Carolina at number 13, and then BYU drops from 13 to 18. And what a game that was. We talked about it last week, and I actually picked Coastal Carolina to cover the plus 11. They actually end up winning the game 22-17. So what a game that was. Zach Wilson, I can't blame it all on him. I mean, he threw for 240 yards, a touchdown, late interception at the end of the first half. I think he played, good enough to win. I guess he could have played a little bit better in certain situations. But this Coastal Carolina team is a very fun team to watch. They're scrappy. They're out of the Sun Belt Conference. They're the highest-ranked Sun Belt team of all time. And this is a team that I'm going to say it over and over again. This is a Coastal Carolina team who was picked dead last in the Sun Belt this year. What's up, Jordan, man? Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate you, brother. And Coastal Carolina was literally picked dead last in the Sun Belt versus teams like App State, Georgia Southern, Troy, Georgia State. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing right now, and they're doing it with, they have a 5'9", 90-pound center. He's going up against a 6'6", 350-pound guy across from him, giving up 60 pounds and 6 inches, and he's whooping them. I mean, it's unreal what Coastal Carolina and this coaching staff has this team believing. And if I'm trying to build a program right now and I got a Power 5 team, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Coastal Carolina's coach right now, because what he's doing, that was a fun game to watch. Shout out to not only BYU, but shout out to Coastal Carolina, because that was a heck of a game to watch. And I'm glad they could get that matched up. And you're right, Julian. I mean, they were 18, so I see the 5-spot jump to 13. It is weird that teams, you maybe have a 2-loss Oklahoma team in front of them, and then an Indiana team who did lose Ohio State, but they're pretty good as well. So I would like to maybe see this Coastal Carolina team, and I want to see them playing a New Year's Six bowl. They take care of Troy this week, and then they take care. Their uniforms are nice too. They take care of them, and then they take care of Louisiana. They're probably going to be in the New Year's Six Bowl. I would like to see them in one of those big bowl games. They're a fun team to watch, and shout out to Coastal Carolina for getting that job done. So what are the most likely scenarios? I talked about it a little bit, but here are my scenarios. I basically have 7 teams who I believe can get into the college football playoff right now, and that is Alabama. Basically, they're the number 1 team in the country. They're in. Alabama is in the playoff no matter what. They could lose to Florida as long as they don't get blown out by 21 points or something like that. If they lose a close game to Florida, which I'm going to take Alabama in that game, point spread, straight up, whatever, I'll take Alabama. I'll roll with them. I don't even need to know what it is right now. But if Florida somehow pulls an upset, Kyle Trask plays very good, Alabama will probably slide to 3 or 4. Alabama, you're in. What's up, Richard? Thanks for watching, brother. I appreciate it. Alabama, you're most likely in the college football playoff. Notre Dame, guys, the number 2 team in the country. If they win, they're in. No matter what, they're in. They're getting in the college football playoff if they win. If they lose, some other things would have to happen. They would probably still get in the college football playoff, but at the same time, I could see them possibly slipping to 5 in a team like Florida. If they beat Bama, they could get in maybe. And then, you got an Ohio State team who could sneak in there. I mean, I don't know. If Clemson wins against Notre Dame and Florida wins against Bama, could you see 2 teams from the SEC and 2 teams from the ACC get in and Ohio State doesn't get in? I mean, it just sounded to me like the college football committee is going to put Ohio State in. It doesn't really matter about the games. It's kind of about the eye test, and they're a good football team. Ohio State's a good football team. I'm not saying they can't lose to Alabama or Clemson, but they're a very good football team. Clemson has got to win to get in the college football playoff. And Richard just asked down below, man, I really like Clemson in this rematch versus Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's got a good football team. I think that the fact that they didn't have Trevor Lawrence the first matchup, that's a huge matchup. I know DJ came in and he did his thing at quarterback. What's up, Glenn? But I really like this Clemson football team. Trevor Lawrence, when it's all said and done, the guy's lost 1 college football game in his career, and that was to LSU last year, who was a very talented team. I like Clemson in the matchup versus Notre Dame. If they keep it close, Notre Dame is probably going to get in the college football playoff. If they blow them out, I could see Notre Dame slipping out, but I would probably put the chances there probably in at 70% right now. Notre Dame, 60 to 70%. But Ohio State's the wild card for me. What do you do with a team like Ohio State? If they win, I think they're in. I really do. I think that if Ohio State wins, I think the College Football Committee has shown week in and week out the last few weeks that they like Ohio State, and they're probably going to put them in the college football playoff. So most likely right now, with what I got going, I got Bama winning against Florida, so I got Clemson beating Notre Dame, so I got Notre Dame possibly facing, and then I have Ohio State facing off with Clemson again. That's kind of my college football playoff right now. Close to the end of the season. If I had to pick 2 weeks from now, that would be my college football playoff. I don't think Florida's a good enough team to beat Alabama. I really just don't. I know they're good offensively, but this Alabama team this year is just built different. And then A&M, a bunch of their games got canceled. They got blown out by 28 points. I don't really think they have a chance to get in. And then Cincinnati, I really like the Cincinnati Bearcats, but I just think with, 2 or 3 of their games getting canceled this year, no marquee games, I just don't think they're going to get in as well. And you're right, Glenn. I'm not saying that they have a right to. I don't know what the right amount of games is. I'm just saying that this Ohio State team is very, very good. And the only way, I guess, if Florida beats Bama, you can knock Ohio State out, and if Notre Dame plays good against Clemson, that would probably be how they get out. Yeah, you're right. Cincinnati is a good football team. I like them a lot. I've rode with them on some bets this year, but I just don't see them being able to sneak in there. I just don't. With no, if they could have played Ohio State or something this weekend, that would have been awesome. I would have loved to see that matchup. But you're right, Glenn. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying they should get in, but at the same time, I think that the committee is going to put them in. That's just my my way to go about it. Not really saying it's right, not really saying it's wrong, but that's just what I think is going to happen. But yeah, my top 7 teams, the only 7 teams I really think have a chance at this moment, any chance at all: Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, Florida at 5, A&M 6, and then Cincy at 7. Those are my only teams I think that really have a true shot at winning it right now. And yeah, I mean, you're right. It definitely is an advantage. I mean, they're four games less again, that they have to recover, from a college football game with taking a lot of hits and things like that. You're totally right. But I just think with what the college football playoff said last night, I think they're going to get in. So that's just my theory, but that's just my thinking behind it, Glenn. You're right. I don't think it makes it right. But from what I'm hearing from these guys talk every Tuesday night, I just think that they're going to get in. And we'll just kind of have to see what happens from there. But I'm really excited for these matchups next weekend. I'll have all the picks next weekend for the college football, the championship games to go to the playoff. Basically, Notre Dame, Clemson, that's a playoff game. So I'm really excited for next week. And Richard, you're right, man. That Cincinnati team is fun to watch. I really like them. They got a great defense. Ritter at quarterback has done a great job this year. So college football always brings out the best in people. I mean, you never really know. I think Bama's by far the favorite right now to win it all. This team looks very, very good right now. And I can't wait to watch it all unfold in the next 2 weeks. And right now, guys, if you're not watching ESPN right now, turn it to ESPN right now. Indiana, Florida State playing right now in basketball. Florida State, number 20 in the country, just hit a 3 to go up. They are up 62-61 right now against Indiana with 51 seconds left right now, guys. So if you are watching, be sure to tune in and see what happens. And Glenn, you're right. If they let them in with 6 games over a team like Florida, if Florida beats Bama, they're in. And if somehow the only thing I guess Ohio State's rooting for, they're rooting for Notre Dame to knock Clemson out to get in the college football playoff. But I could see maybe 2 teams from the SEC and 2 teams from the SEC get in, ACC, SEC, or you could see that Ohio State team and knock one of those other teams out of the way. But I just think Alabama's going to beat Florida, and then it's going to be over with. So we'll see what happens. Indiana just hit a free throw to tie it up, 47 seconds left. So we'll see what happens. I know this is going to take a lot longer than 40 seconds. So I'm going to get started on my NFL stuff, and we'll give a little break in the action, guys. But hey, we got 6 or 7 on the live tonight. It's been a great show. I really appreciate y'all tuning in right now. And Florida State, guys, Florida State's got the ball, 25 seconds left. Number 4 up at the top of the key, dribbling, pick set right. He's trying to get to the hole. Great defense by Indiana. And Florida State's kind of holding for this last shot. He hits a tough, miss. There's a scramble for the ball. I think Florida State got the ball with like 6 seconds left. I mean, this is a unbelievable game right now. These guys really want this game. So 4 seconds left. Florida State's got the ball. We'll see what happens. And Richard, you are right. The Jets last week, that terrible call, all blitz. I'm sure you were happy when that happened, when the Raiders scored on them with 5 seconds left over the top. So hey, I want to see. I'd much rather see Trevor Lawrence in New York than Jacksonville. That's just me. My prediction was that the Jags were going to have the worst record, so I like to see it for that reason. But besides that, I definitely want to see Lawrence in New York over cover 0 all blitz. Let's go. But hey, I mean, I'm not sure if he did it just to spite. Not sure if he did it just to spite Adam Gase, but who knows? Greg Williams is an aggressive defensive coordinator, so. All right, guys, so the NFL playoff picture is shaping up right now, 25% of the season left, and here's how it stands right now in the NFL. In the AFC, guys, you got the Steelers sitting at the top, and the Steelers are coming off a tough loss right now to the Washington football team. They lost to a team with no name. They let their perfect season go by losing to a team with no name. So, but the Steelers are still at the top, 11-1. If they both go undefeated the rest of the way, it will be the Steelers. But I think the Steelers could stub their toe one more time throughout the season, and I don't see the Chiefs losing again. I got Chiefs finishing at 15-1 and finishing at the top. But Steelers right now are at the top. The Chiefs are sitting there at number 2. The Buffalo Bills, an impressive win the other night against the San Francisco 49ers. They are at number 3. The Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry sit at number 4, although they did come off a tough loss to the Cleveland Browns this past week. Speaking of the Browns come in at number 5. The Miami Dolphins, guys, come in at number 6. And then the Indianapolis Colts sit at number 7. So that's how it currently sits right now. And then sitting outside with both 7-5 records are the Las Vegas Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens. And I want to talk a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens right now because they actually had a very good game last night versus the Dallas Cowboys. And it doesn't really take a lot to play good against the Dallas Cowboys this year. They're not a very good football team. But I just think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson getting fresh. He's healthy now. He lost a little bit of weight. He looked athletic the other night. I like their schedule down the stretch. They do have Cleveland on Monday Night Football, ESPN. But I really feel like the rest of their schedule, the next 3 games, are very winnable games. I got the Ravens finishing either 10-6, 11-5, kind of running the table. I think they could definitely beat the Browns this Monday night. Even if they lose, they'll be at 7-6 with 3 games left. They'll be favored in all those 3 games. I like the Ravens to get into the playoffs. Not sure what else can happen. I mean, I think the Raiders have not been playing their best football. Josh Jacobs also out. I think they're probably gonna, just miss the playoffs this year. But it comes down to the Ravens, Colts, Browns. I mean, one of those teams. There's going to be a great football team this year in the AFC that doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. So the Ravens, guys, would be my pick out of the teams that are outside the top 7 right now to get in. And remember, in each conference, the number 1 seed, guys, number 1 seed gets the bye. The number 2 seed no longer gets the bye. So we'll see what happens in the AFC. I still would, if you told me right now who would you take, Chiefs or the field, I'd take the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is that good of a player. I just think he's unstoppable. Andy Reid is calling a hell of a game right now. So that's my pick. I think the Ravens slide in. I think the Colts maybe slide out. I like the Dolphins. I like the Browns. So I'll put Ravens in, Colts out. And then in the NFC, guys, we have the New Orleans Saints, who are on a tear right now. They sit at 11-2. They've already clinched a playoff berth. I think they've won like 8 or 9 in a row. Followed by the Green Bay Packers, who do own the head-to-head matchup versus Saints this year. So if somehow the New Orleans Saints can lose a game and the Packers run the table, they will get the number 1 seed. Followed by the Rams. The Rams are sitting at number 3. And just a little update. Florida State missed a game-winning shot, so it's now 62-62 into regulation going to overtime. But the LA Rams guys sit at number 3. They play the New England Patriots on Thursday night. We'll talk about that game a little bit later on. In the NFC East, guys, or the NFC least, I should say, the Giants or the Washington football team look like the 2 teams who may come out of that division this year. The Giants, of course, upset the Seattle Seahawks this past weekend. And then the Tampa Bay Bucks guys sitting at the number 6 spot. A lot of people call me crazy when I had them at 9-7 coming into the season. I had them making the playoffs at number 7, where they sit right now with 4 games left. They sit at number 6. And then the Vikings guys have won 5 out of 6 games. They sit at the number 7 spot with a 6-6 record. But I'm not sure if I like the Vikings right now. I think they have a kind of a tough schedule. I could see them going 2-2 down the stretch, finishing 8-8. The Cardinals guys, I picked them to make the playoffs before the season started. That's going to be my pick. I wanted to pick one team outside the playoff picture right now that would make it in each conference. So right now in the AFC, guys, the Ravens would be my pick. And in the NFC, I have the Vikings dropping out and the Cardinals being my pick in the NFC. That's just who I think could make the playoff in each conference. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's kind of how it sits right now, guys. And at the end of the day, guys, we'll find out. We got 4 weeks left. There's going to be some really good games down the stretch as long as COVID and everything, they can keep COVID under control. It looks like the NFL can hopefully get to the playoffs, and then after that, maybe they create their own bubble. Who knows? But like San Francisco's having to do right now. San Francisco, of course, is having a quarantine in Arizona So we'll see what happens, guys. Unbelievable how the San Francisco 49ers have to create their own bubble, and there's more cases in Arizona than there is in Santa Clara. So, just unbelievable that's having to go on, and an unbelievable season so far, and can't believe that this season is even being played right now. So, guys, we've talked a little bit of college football. We talked a little NFL. Next weekend, guys, I'll give you my NBA. They're making a quick return. NBA was only out for a few months, maybe 2-3 months. It feels like LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers just won the title. So with the NBA making this return, guys, I will pick each conference. I'll pick my 1 through 8 teams in each conference in the East, also the West, and guys, I'll also pick my NBA season, my 2021 NBA season awards as well. So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining. I really appreciate all the support. I appreciate y'all tuning in, joining the conversation, and yeah, Julian, we'll talk NBAs, and that's the thing about the Atlanta Hawks, man. They had a heck of an offseason. Trae Young, look for him to make that next step and lead this Atlanta Hawks organization to the playoffs. You heard it here first. I think the Atlanta Hawks will make the playoffs next year. Tune in next week to see kind of where I put them. But we'll have all that coming on with the NBA next weekend, guys. So we talked college basketball. We talked NBA. We talked a little bit about this Florida State game. But I want to talk a little bit about my picks, guys, and those are my Crowder locks each week. Each week I give you 5 college football games and 1 NBA game to look out for the NBA. For the season for each weekend. So 5 college football games and then 1 NFL game. So last weekend, guys, was 5-1 on the week, 5-0 in college football. The one pick I lost was the Oakland Raiders. They did not cover against the Jets. They almost lost the game, but they did end up covering. And my picks last week, guys, so I had Raiders minus 8.5 over the Jets. I had that one wrong. But besides that, guys, I was 5-0 in college football. I had Ohio State minus 24 over Michigan State. They win 52-12. Iowa State wins big over West Virginia. That was the lock of the day. I think it was like 45-0, 45-3, something like that. Iowa State covers minus 6.5 easily. Indiana, guys, I had them plus 14 over Wisconsin. They actually win the game 14-6. I had Clemson big over Virginia Tech. They blew it out later in the game by more than 21.5 points. I think they won by 28-31. And then Coastal, with the upset of the day, beating the BYU Cougars. I told you guys to take them at plus 11, and I hope you did. So 5-0 last week, guys, and here are my picks for this weekend. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share down below. And these are my picks for the weekend, guys. So we'll start with the BYU Cougars. I like picking teams who like to score a lot of points. Also like teams who, BYU is going to be heavily favored over this San Diego State team. And I'm sorry, I like Zach Wilson as a pro potential type quarterback, and I think he's going to come out angry against San Diego State. And I'm going to take the BYU Cougars minus 16.5 over San Diego State. I'm going to lay the 16.5 and hope for a BYU shootout. BYU, of course, was averaging about 45, 46 a game, only giving up 14 points a game before they faced off against Coastal Carolina last weekend. But Coastal Carolina, guys, is my next pick this week. So my number 2 pick, Coastal Carolina, they are minus 13.5 over Troy this week. Troy 5-5. This is not your every year Troy team. Normally Troy has a good program. They normally go 8-4, 9-3 every season. Right now they're 5-5. Look for Coastal to take advantage of this Troy team this weekend. They're a very good football team, and Coastal Carolina is going to show it. They have a lot to prove coming out this weekend. They only jumped 5 spots in the poll, so we'll see what they do. But I like Coastal Carolina by 3 touchdowns over Troy this weekend, 42-14, 42-17, something like that. I think Coastal could blow out Troy this weekend. So BYU minus 16.5, Coastal minus 13.5, guys, over Troy. And then the late night Saturday game, guys. So this is a late night game. This is a game the spread jumps out to me when I see it. USC undefeated at 4-0, facing a 3-2 UCLA team in a rivalry game. Keaton Slovis is a heck of a player for the Trojans. They just absolutely obliterated Washington State last week. I really think that this USC team can put in work against this UCLA team this weekend. I'm going USC by 13. I'm going 34-21 over the UCLA Bruins this weekend. The minus 2.5 jumped out to me, and I'm gonna lay it all day. Not only by a field goal, I got USC by 13 over UCLA and Chip Kelly. My number 4 game, guys, Michigan State plus 14.5 over a Penn State team, which is not very good this year. I know Michigan State's not very good. They're 2-4 or 2-5. Penn State's 2-5. They're both just not very good football teams, but Michigan State has competed in some games. They actually beat Northwestern 29-20 a couple weeks ago. They competed with some other programs in the Big Ten. I know Indiana blew Michigan State out, but I'm taking Michigan State with the plus 14.5. May lose by 2 touchdowns, but I'm okay with that other extra half point being laid. I'm taking Michigan State and the former defensive coordinator of the Georgia Bulldogs, Mel Tucker, who's the head coach at Michigan State. I think Michigan State keeps it close long enough to cover the spread. I'll probably take Penn State in the game by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, 27-20, 27-24, something like that. But I got Michigan State covering plus 14.5. I fell in love with the points right here. I got to take the Spartans over the Nittany Lions this weekend with the points. Not necessarily meaning they're going to win the game, but I'll take them with the points. And then my last game, guys, I had some other games, and I'm going to throw them out there after I make my last pick. I had 2 other games I wanted to pick. It was hard for me to choose just 5 this week because there was a lot of good games I liked. But I'm rolling with the Alabama Crimson Tide, minus 32 over Arkansas. This is an Alabama team this year that just looks like they are on a mission, and it just looks like they are unstoppable right now. Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, who may be the best player in the country. Najee Harris has 20 touchdowns. The defense has really simplified things, and you have Patrick Surtain and Dylan Moses and some other guys on that defense who are going to step up and make plays in certain situations. I picked Alabama Crimson Tide at the beginning of the year to win the national championship. Excuse me. And I'm sticking with that pick. I really like Alabama. But I'm laying the 32 points. I know it's a lot of points, and I used to shy away from Nick Saban teams with these big spreads, but I'm sorry. Until a team shows me they can stop Alabama, I'm taking Alabama big in this one. It doesn't look like they're not trying to score. I think Alabama could hang another 50 on Arkansas, and can Arkansas score 20? Or can Alabama keep them under 20? That's really the big question. What's up, Dave? Thanks for watching, man. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining in at the end of the show with my picks. So I got Bama minus 32. Can Arkansas score more than 20 on Alabama? I don't think so. So I'm taking Alabama. Alabama's going to score 50. So we'll see what happens. So here are my picks, guys, in college. I got BYU minus 16.5. I got Coastal Carolina minus 13.5. I got USC minus 2.5 over UCLA. Michigan State plus 14.5 over Penn State. And Alabama minus 32 over Arkansas. So those are my picks, guys. Remember, 5-1 last week. 35-29 against the spread on the season. And, of course, before we get out of here, guys, I have to give you my last pick of the week. And I always go Thursday Night Football if there is a game. And since there is a game, I'm going to take the 8-4 Rams, who are led by Sean McVay, Jared Goff, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp on offense, and then, of course, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on defense. I'm going to take them over a New England team who struggles to throw the football. Cam Newton has more wins this season as a starting quarterback than touchdowns, which is kind of ironic. I think he has like 5 touchdowns, 9 picks or something like that. Hasn't played that well. And what I think the Rams are going to do is they're going to stack the box and they're going to force Cam Newton to try to beat them with his arm, because I think Aaron Donald and this team is going to have to take away. They're going to have to take away the run game of the New England Patriots, because Cam Newton is not the same right now. I think that Bill Belichick's done a great job getting his team to 6-6. I think they'll score some points. I'll take the Rams 24 and the New England Patriots, 17, something like that. I'll take the 5 points and run with it. The Los Angeles Rams right by a touchdown over the New England Patriots, who are right outside that playoff picture. So those are my picks, guys, for the weekend, man. I'm really hoping for another maybe 6-0. 5-1 type week. That would really help. I try to stay about, at least above 10 games above 500 for the whole season, picking games. We're probably going to pick around 70 games at the end of the season when it's all said and done. So if I can stay, 10, 15 games above 500, that would really help out. So guys, thank y'all so much for joining tonight. It was a great show. Thanks for everybody who commented down below, who shared the post, who liked the post. I really appreciate that. And guys, don't forget, every Wednesday night, we're kicking it with Crowder every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. Guys, if you want to invite people to the podcast, just send them a invite to my page on Facebook, and we'll share this out there. We'll get it out on Twitter. We'll edit it. We'll put it on Apple. We'll put it on Spotify. We'll put it on the iHeartRadio app, and we'll just go from there, guys. I really enjoy bringing y'all the show tonight. And guys, I also made a YouTube video yesterday on Zach Wilson, so I'll post that down in the comments. If you want to check it out, guys, please do so. But man, thank y'all so much for watching tonight. It's always a pleasure to bring you Kicking It with Crowder, and this was episode 13 of the season, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button on YouTube, follow me on Twitter at Kick It with Crow, guys. And with that, I am out, guys. Until next week, I'm out. Let's go.